Picture this, an entitled HOA Karen rams her SUV into our shed, thinking she owns us. I'm Ethan, and my Vietnam vet grandpa Henry has a silent plan. Tensions rise, threats fly, until crunch. Hello, my Gossip Karen brothers. Before we dive into the story, please help me hit 49 likes on this video. Thank you. The Texas morning was golden, sunlight spilling over Saddle Creek Ranch, Texas, where I sat with Grandpa Henry on his weathered porch, coffee steaming in the cool air. I'm Ethan Caldwell, a 32-year-old software engineer from Austin, back home for 2 weeks to soak up time with Henry Caldwell, a 78-year-old Vietnam vet who'd built Caldwell Salvage from dirt and grit. Everyone called him Grandpa. Neighbors, kids, even a mailman. Not just because of his age, but because of his quiet wisdom earned through war and 40 years running a salvage yard. His 12 acres, dotted with old cars and machinery, were his kingdom, and the last piece of Saddle Creek that Victoria Langley, the HOA president, hadn't sunk her claws into. Henry rocked in his chair, eyes sharp, scanning the yard like he was still the Green Beret tactical advisor he'd been after Nam. I was showing him screenshots of my latest app, a logistics tool I'd coded for a startup. Looks complicated, Ethan, he chuckled, voice gravelly but warm. The piece was perfect, birds chirping, oak trees rustling, the distant hum of Ranch's highway. Then an engine roared, not a neighbor's pickup, but a snarling, aggressive growl speeding closer. Someone's driving too fast, I said, frowning. Henry's chair stopped dead. His coffee cup hit the table with a thud. Ethan, get inside, he said, voice low, his military instincts kicking in hard. Through the gap in our fence, I caught a flash of white metal, a Honda Pilot, pristine, license plate, Boss 1. Henry grabbed my arm, pulling me behind a porch pillar. Stay down, he whispered. The SUV screeched to a stop at our property line, and out stepped Victoria Langley. She was 5 feet 5 inches, pale skin, blonde hair in a flawless bob, dressed in a tailored blazer, pencil skirt, and heels that screamed Dallas money. Her smile was corporate, cold, like a shark sizing up prey. Mr. Caldwell, she called, voice dripping with fake Southern charm, the kind that sets your teeth on edge. Victoria Langley, Saddle Creek, HOA president, such a pleasure. Henry stood slow, deliberate, his 6 feet 2 inches frame, still lean and imposing despite the years. His faded flannel shirt and jeans couldn't hide the soldier's posture. Back straight, eyes like steel. Ma'am, he said, tipping his head, old school polite, but unyielding. Victoria's smile widened, never reaching her eyes. We've got a small concern. That shed of yours is 3 inches over the property line. She pointed to a weathered shed by the yard's edge, where Henry kept his late wife Clara's claw hammer, a gift from 1987. Been there since '87, Henry replied, voice steady as bedrock, unshaken. Victoria's charm turned sharp. Times change, sweetie. Saddle Creek's modernizing. Your junkyard's dragging us down. The word junkyard was venom, like she was spitting on Henry's 40 years of sweat. I'll offer $60,000 for your land. Generous for a salvage yard, she said, tossing her hair. I clenched my fists. $60,000 wouldn't buy half an acre here. Henry's answer was one word. No. It landed like a judge's gavel, final, unappeasable. Victoria's mask slipped, her eyes narrowed. Mr. Caldwell, I own this town. Connections, resources. You've got 72 hours to rethink, or compliance inspections get thorough. A shadow moved. Derek Salazar, Victoria's enforcer, stepped from the SUV. He was 6 feet 4 inches, early 30s, medium brown skin, all muscle, stuffed into an HOA polo shirt. The kind of guy who'd peaked playing high school football and never moved on. Problem, Mrs. Langley? He asked, cracking his knuckles, his grin pure menace. Victoria's confidence surged. No problem, Derek, just explaining community standards. She fixed Henry with a stare. Think it over, Mr. Caldwell. Things can get complicated. The threat hung heavy, clear as a storm cloud. Henry didn't flinch, didn't argue, just stood, absorbing every word, his tactical mind filing it away. They peeled out, the Honda Pilot's tires spitting gravel. I exploded. Grandpa, she just threatened you. We need the sheriff, the FBI, somebody. Henry walked to the shed, his hand brushing Clara's hammer, hanging on the wall beside photos of him and her, their wedding day, framed in oak. Patience, Ethan. Bullies always make mistakes, he said, voice calm but edged with something I couldn't place. I followed him inside. The shed was a time capsule. Spare parts, tools, memories of Clara, who died a decade ago. She can't do this, I said, pacing. Henry sat, holding the hammer. She thinks she can. That's her first mistake. That night, I couldn't sleep, my laptop glowing as I dug into Victoria Langley. Her Wi-Fi was a joke. Password, LangleyNet, no encryption. I slipped into her emails like browsing a newsstand, and what I found made my blood run cold. Victoria was orchestrating a $50 million Texas elite ranch resort. She bought 47 of Saddle Creek's 48 properties over 3 years, leveraging loans due in 8 months. Henry's 12 acres were her missing piece, the planned resort's grand entrance. Bankruptcy records from 2008 showed she'd lost her family's real estate fortune once failure here would ruin her again. Worse, she'd bribed half the county, $10,000 to the building inspector, $15,000 to the municipal planner, emails promising favors to the mayor. She's rigging everything, I told Henry, shoving printouts across the kitchen table. He spread his 1987 property deed, yellowed but ironclad. Salvage rights, Ethan. Any property left on our land over 72 hours is ours, he said, pointing to a clause. I blinked. What's the plan? His smile was thin. We wait. Let her dig her own grave. I stared at Derek's Honda Pilot, parked on our property line, its tinted windows glinting under the moon. She's watching us, I said. Henry nodded. Good. Let her think she's in control. The Texas heat pressed down on Saddle Creek, but the real pressure came from Victoria Langley's campaign to drive us out. 12 acres of memories, built after Vietnam, where he'd raised my mom and honored his late wife, Clara. Victoria, the HOA president, wanted it for her $50 million resort, and she wasn't asking nicely. Her $45,000 Honda Pilot, parked on our property line, was a taunt, but Henry saw it as a trap waiting to spring. Her threats from Monday echoed. 72 hours, or things get complicated. Now, Tuesday morning, the siege began. I woke to a stack of papers slapped on our porch, violation notices thicker than a phone book. Building code fines $500 a day for the shed's encroachment. Environmental inspection orders claiming our yard was a hazard. Eviction threats. 48-hour compliance deadlines. This is harassment, I shouted, waving the papers. Henry sat at the kitchen table, reading each one, his weathered hands steady, eyes calm. Civil matter, he said, voice low. He called the sheriff, gotten nowhere. Victoria's bought the system, I said, slamming my laptop open. Henry spread his 1987 deed. Salvage rights, Ethan. Her SUV's been there 24 hours, 2 days to go. His smile was thin. Let her escalate. I dove into Victoria's digital world. Her Wi-Fi, LangleyNet, was a goldmine. Her emails laid bare a plan. Texas Elite Ranch Resort, $50 million in loans, due in 8 months. She'd bought 47 of Saddle Creek's 48 properties. Henry's land was her resort's entrance. Failure meant bankruptcy. Her 2008 collapse loomed. Worse, she'd bribed officials, $10,000 to the building inspector, $15,000 to the planner, emails promising donations to the mayor. She's untouchable, I said, showing Henry printouts. He nodded. Arrogant folks make sloppy mistakes. Keep digging. Derek Salazar's Honda Pilot sat on our line, day 2, snapping photos. He's building a case, I warned. Henry watched. He's building ours. Victoria's next move hit hard. Wednesday morning, our power cut out at 8 a.m. Water stopped by 9, internet and phone lines dead by 10. City trucks rolled up. Inspectors in pressed uniforms, disconnecting utilities with surgical precision. Safety concerns, one barked, avoiding my eyes. I called every department, got voicemails, runarounds. This is her doing, I told Henry, pacing the porch. He cataloged each cut wire, photographing notices with a disposable camera. Document everything, Ethan, he said, voice steady, but his grip on Clara's hammer, hanging in the shed, was tight. Deputy Sophia Mendez stopped by, a lean woman, mid-40s, her badge glinting in the sun. Off the record, Ethan, Victoria's got City Hall bought, she said, handing me a digital recorder. Build your case, every detail. Henry thanked her. Appreciate it, Sophia. She glanced at Derek's SUV. That's been there a while. You know your rights? Henry's eyes twinkled. Sure do. After she left, I recorded everything, cut pipes, fake notices, timestamps. We're sitting ducks, I said. Henry pointed to the deed. 72 hours. Ethan, day 3 tomorrow. That night, Victoria held a safety meeting at her McMansion, a sprawling estate that screamed new money. I crept close, recording through my phone, her voice carried over a projector. Certain properties threaten our values, she said, slides showing Henry's yard, doctored to look like a dump. Some don't belong in Saddle Creek. Neighbors nodded, brainwashed by her charm. She's turning them against us. I whispered to Henry, back home. He listened to the audio. She's overplaying her hand. I launched WatchHOAabuse.com, live streaming Henry fixing a neighbor's car, helping a kid with a bike. Comments poured in. Henry rebuilt my fence. He's no threat. Victoria's narrative cracked, but her grip tightened. Thursday, the harassment turned physical. Henry's truck tires slashed overnight, paint spelling leave on our mailbox. I checked our security cameras. They'd been tilted, creating blind spots. Derek's work, I said, fists clenched. Henry cleaned the paint, replaced the tires without a word. Why aren't you mad? I asked, pacing. He held Clara's hammer. Anger's a distraction. Ethan, focus on the trap. Derek's SUV stayed parked. Day 4, its presence a dare. I traced more emails. Victoria to the county clerk. Expedite Caldwell's fines. Another to an inspector. Fine violations, whatever it takes. She's desperate. I told Henry. He nodded. Desperate folks get reckless. One more day. Neighbors started whispering. I caught snippets at the gas station. Is Henry's yard really a hazard? Victoria's pushing hard. Some avoided me. Others nodded, unsure. Victoria's propaganda was strong, flyers and mailboxes. Protect our values, with photos of rusted junk. Not Henry's tidy yard. I posted more footage. Henry teaching a teen to weld. Neighbors thanking him. We're gaining ground. I said. Henry studied Derek's SUV. Tomorrow's the day. 72 hours. I frowned. What's the play? His eyes were steel. Justice, Ethan, not revenge. Friday morning, I found Henry in the shed, staring at Clara's photo, her hammer in his hand. 40 years here. After Nam, I built this, raised your mom, buried Clara from this house. His voice cracked, a rare glimpse of pain. I hugged him. We're not losing, Grandpa. He straightened. No, we ain't. But Victoria don't know that. He walked to the crusher, a hydraulic beast in the yard's corner, silent for years. Tomorrow, you learn this machine, he said. I blinked. The SUV? He nodded. Texas law. It's ours now. I dug deeper into Victoria's emails, found a bombshell. She'd wired $20,000 to an offshore account, labeled consulting, tied to her cousin's shell company. Tax fraud. I said, printing it. Henry filed salvage claims. Photos of Derek's SUV, 6 days on our land, Texas property code attached. We're legal, he said, handing copies to Sophia, who signed as witness. You're playing her game. I said, odd. Henry's smile was grim. No, Ethan, she's playing mine. Victoria's convoy rolled in city trucks, her Range Rover. Evacuate in 72 hours, an inspector shouted. Victoria smirked. Checkmate, old man. Henry handed her the salvage papers. Read up, ma'am. Her face froze, the crusher's shadow loomed. I recorded everything, neighbors gathering, phones out. Victoria's empire was cracking, and Henry was ready to strike. Friday morning broke hot in Saddle Creek, the Texas sun baking the earth, but Victoria Langley's campaign burned hotter, scorching our lives. I found Grandpa Henry at the crusher, its steel jaws gleaming, a hydraulic beast dormant too long. "She wakes tomorrow," he said, wiping oil from his hand, his 78-year-old frame steady, eyes sharp like the Green Beret he'd been. I shoved my laptop at him. "Check this, Grandpa." An email from Victoria to her cousin, wiring $20,000 offshore, labeled consulting. "That's tax fraud," I said, printing it with shaking hands. Henry tucked it into his file box, time-stamped photos of Derek Salazar's $45,000 Honda Pilot, parked 6 days on our property line, clipped to Texas property code. "Legal as the sunrise," he said, handing copies to Deputy Sophia Mendez. She signed as witness, her badge glinting. "You're covered, Henry. She's walking into it." I grinned. "You're outsmarting her." Henry's smile was thin. "She's outsmarting herself, Ethan." A new notice hit our porch, $1,000 fine for unpermitted structures, targeting the shed where Clara's claw hammer hung. 40 years, and now it's a problem. I yelled, tearing it down. Henry snapped photos. More for the case. Our security cameras caught Derek again, tilting lenses to hide his tracks. I reset them, streaming live to watchityourabuse.com. Henry teaching a kid to change oil, neighbors waving. Comments poured in. "Henry's the best." Victoria's full of it. The tide was turning, but Victoria's grip tightened. At the gas station, I overheard whispers. "Is Henry's yard dangerous?" Some neighbors nodded at me. "Don't let her win." Others turned away. Victoria's flyers were everywhere. "Protect Saddle Creek," with doctored images of rusted heaps, not Henry's neat rows. I dove deeper into Victoria's emails, her Wi-Fi, LangleyNet, an open book. A thread with the county clerk read, "Barry Caldwell with fines." Another to an inspector, "Cite anything, make it hurt." She's panicking. I told Henry, my screen glowing. He studied Derek's SUV. "Day 6 tomorrow. She's handing us the key." I frowned. "What if she moves it?" Henry's eyes gleamed. "She won't. Arrogance blinds her." I posted more footage. Henry fixing a neighbor's gate, kids cheering. Hashtag Save Caldwell trended locally. Ranchers across Texas shared HOA nightmares. "We're building an army," I said. Henry checked the crusher's hydraulics. "Armies win wars. We need precision." Thursday night's vandalism cut deep. Rocks smashed our windows, glass glittering on the floor. I checked the cameras. Derek's shadow, no clear face. "He's coming for us," I said, sweeping shards. Henry boarded the windows, calm, but his jaw twitched. "Why no anger?" I asked, frustrated. He gripped Claire's hammer. "Anger's a trap. Ethan, we're close." I found another email. "Victoria to the mayor. Block Caldwell's appeals. $5,000 for your campaign." Bribery. I printed it, heart pounding. Henry added it to his file. "She's piling her own grave. Keep it coming." Derek's SUV sat unmoved. Day 5, a silent challenge. Victoria's Friday safety meeting was a spectacle. Her McMansion lit like a stage, neighbors packed inside. I hid in the shrubs, recording, her voice sharp over a projector. "Some residents threaten our future," she said, slides showing Henry's yard as a toxic dump. "We're saving your investments." The crowd clapped, suckered by her polish. I uploaded the audio to my site. "She's lying." Comments exploded. Mrs. Rivera messaged, "Henry rebuilt my shed. He's no danger." Others joined. "Fix my car. Help my son." Victoria's story wobbled, but she struck back. A new flyer hit every mailbox. "Caldwell's junkyard endangers us all." I countered with video. Henry teaching welding. Neighbors laughing. "We're cracking her armor." I told Henry. He oiled the crusher. "Armor's step 1. Her castle's next." Derek's demeanor shifted. I caught him on camera, lingering by his SUV. Yesterday, Henry gave him lemonade, a small gesture, but Derek's glare softened. Today, Henry helped a girl patch a bike tire by the SUV. Derek watched, silent. He's wavering, I said. Henry nodded. Kindness cuts sharper than hate. Let it work. I found an email. Victoria to Derek. Watch Caldwell closer. He's scheming. She's spooked, I said. Henry's smile was grim. Spooked folks make mistakes one more day. The community split wider. At the diner, some glared. You're hiking our dues. Others whispered support. Victoria's too much. I visited Mrs. Rivera. We're saving Henry's land, you with us. She hugged me. He's Saddle Creek's heart. 6 neighbors joined our fight, a growing rebellion. We need the whole town, I said. Henry filed another salvage claim. Derek's SUV, day 6, legally ours. Tomorrow, we move, he said, testing the crusher's controls. I stared. You're really doing it? His voice was iron. Texas law, Ethan, her choice. Victoria called that night. I recorded every word. Mr. Caldwell, you're stubborn, she snapped, her charm gone. I own this town, inspectors, clerks, the mayor. Your utilities are cut. Fines are stacking. Give in, or lose it all. Henry was polite, still considering Mrs. Langley. Her laugh was jagged. Consider fast, tomorrow's inspection buries your yard. She hung up. I exploded. She's killing us. And you're cool as ice? Henry pointed to the SUV. 6 days, Ethan, she's handed us the blade. Saturday morning, I found Henry in the shed. Claire's photo in his hands, her hammer beside it. 40 years survived Nam, built this, lost Clara here. His voice trembled, pain raw, rare. I hugged him. We're holding on, Grandpa. He stood tall. More than holding, we're winning. He walked to the crusher. Today you learn this beast. I followed, pulse racing. The SUV's ours, then what? He adjusted a lever. Justice, Ethan cold and final. Sophia arrived at 8 camera ready. You're bulletproof, Henry. She's done. Victoria's convoy rolled in city trucks, her Range Rover gleaming. Vacate now, an inspector barked. Victoria smirked. Checkmate, old man. Henry handed her the salvage papers, then hit the crusher start. The roar shook Saddle Creek, and Victoria's world began to crumble. Saturday morning burned bright in Saddle Creek, the Texas sun blazing, but the real fire was Grandpa Henry's resolve. I stood by the crusher, its hydraulic jaws poised, a steel beast ready to bite. Henry moved with a soldier's precision, his Vietnam-honed instincts guiding every step. I'm Ethan Caldwell, a software engineer caught in Victoria Langley's war to steal Henry's 12-acre salvage yard for her $50 million resort. Her enforcer Derek Salazar's $45,000 Honda Pilot had sat on our property line 6 days, legally ours under Henry's 1987 deed. Victoria's convoy had just rolled in city trucks, her Range Rover gleaming, eviction orders barked. She thought she'd won, but Henry was about to flip the board. Deputy Sophia Mendez arrived at 8 a.m., her camera ready, badge catching the light. You're ironclad, Henry, she said, reviewing his salvage claims, photos, Texas property code, deed clauses, all signed. She's got no play. I clutched my laptop. Victoria's emails, proof of her bribes and fraud, burned in my pocket. Henry handed her the final papers. For the record, Sophia. His voice was calm, but his eyes were fire. Victoria stepped from her Range Rover. 5 feet 5 inches, late 50s, blonde bob perfect, her designer suit screaming power. Vacate in 72 hours, an inspector shouted, clipboard shaking. Victoria smirked. Checkmate, old man. Henry handed her the salvage papers. Read these, ma'am. Her smile froze, confusion flickering. The crusher's engine growled, a deep roar shaking Saddle Creek. Neighbors ran out, phones filming, whispers spreading. Henry climbed into the control booth, his weathered hands on the levers. I live streamed on watchhabuse.com. This is justice. I narrated. Victoria scanned the papers, her face paling. This is theft, she screamed, voice cracking. You can't touch that SUV. Henry leaned out. Texas law, Mrs. Langley, 6 days on my land, it's mine. Derek Salazar, 6 feet 4 inches of muscle in an HOA polo, stepped forward. Boss, what's the move? Victoria's eyes darted. "Stop him, Derek." But Derek hesitated, his scowl softening, Henry's lemonade and kindness from days ago weighing heavy. The jaws descended, slow, deliberate. Glass shattered, the Honda Pilot's windows exploding like diamond rain. Metal groaned, the roof folding like paper. Victoria lunged. "I'll sue you to oblivion." Henry's voice was steady. "File away, ma'am. Law's on my side." Neighbors gasped. Mrs. Rivera, 60, brought a thermos, settling in like it was a show. "Crush it, Henry," she yelled. The crowd grew. 20, then 30, filming, cheering. Oil bled from the SUV, $45,000 of arrogance crumpling. Victoria screamed, "That's my leverage." The jaws closed tighter. The engine block snapped with a thunderclap. In minutes, the Honda Pilot was a 2-foot metal cube, a monument to her miscalculation. Victoria collapsed her knees, her suit dusty, bob unraveling. "You've ruined me," she wailed, hands clawing the dirt. I streamed every second, comments flooding. Justice served. Victoria's done. Henry stepped down, his flannel shirt untouched by the chaos. "Law's the law. Mrs. Langley, your move." Neighbors roared. "Henry! Henry!" Mrs. Rivera poured coffee. About time she learned. Derek stood frozen, his loyalty cracking. "I didn't sign up for this," he muttered, backing away. Victoria's face twisted. "You're fired, Derek." He shook his head. "I quit first." FBI SUVs screeched in black, unmarked government plates. Agent Carla Vargas, 40, stepped out, handcuffs gleaming. "Victoria Langley, you're under arrest. Bribery, fraud, extortion," she said, voice crisp. Victoria staggered. "This is a setup." Carla cuffed her. "Your emails beg to differ." I handed over my printouts, $20,000 offshore, bribes to the mayor, clerk, inspectors. Henry opened his file box. Recordings of Victoria's threats, Derek's signed testimony. She ordered me to harass folks. Derek told Carla, "Head down. I'm done being her dog." Victoria's empire crumbled, her face a mask of rage and panic. Neighbors crowded closer, phones still rolling. She bribed the mayor, took our dues. I posted the arrest live. Hashtag Save Caldwell exploded, ranchers nationwide cheering. 3 city officials were cuffed, the inspector who'd cut our utilities, the clerk who'd fast-track fines. "You can't prove anything." Victoria shrieked as Carla read her rights. Henry's voice was quiet. "We proved everything, ma'am. Thanks to you." Sophia snapped photos. "This is history, Henry." The cube sat gleaming, a symbol of Victoria's fall. The fallout hit fast. The local paper's headline screamed, "HOA fraud busted in Saddle Creek." My site crashed from traffic, thousands watching the cube's birth. Victoria's safety meeting, lies unraveled. Neighbors knocked on our door. "Henry, you saved us," said Mr. Lopez, 50, his eyes wet. "She fined me $800 for nothing. 10 more joined our cause. Half of Saddle Creek, free from her spell." I found a new email. Victoria to her cousin. "If Caldwell wins, I'm bankrupt." She was desperate. I told Henry. He nodded. Desperate folks fall hardest. Derek's flip was the kicker. His testimony detailed years of Victoria's schemes. Fake fines, coerced sales. "She treated us like pawns," he told Carla. I caught him by the SUV's cube. "Why'd you turn?" I asked. He sighed. "Your grandpa's kindness, lemonade, helping kids, showed me I was on the wrong side." Henry clapped his shoulder. "Takes guts to change, son." Derek nodded. "I'm making it right." Victoria's McMansion went dark. Her resort dreams dust. The HOA board dissolved, new elections planned. I posted more evidence, her bribes, offshore accounts. Comments roared. "Henry's a hero. Jail her." The cube trended, hashtag Caldwell Cube, a badge of justice. Neighbors rallied. 15 helped clean our windows, repaint the mailbox. "She slashed my tires," said Mrs. Rivera, joining us. Henry fixed her car. No charge. The yard buzzed, a community reborn. Henry prepped more files. "Federal case needs airtight proof," he said. I traced Victoria's loans, $50 million, due soon. She's broke without this land, I said. Henry studied the cube. She gave us the weapon. Sophia warned. Feds are digging, more arrests coming. I recorded everything, every neighbor's story, every fine. We're bulletproof, I said. Henry's smile was calm. Not yet, Ethan, but close. Victoria's last call came that night, recorded desperate. Caldwell, I'll pay $2,000,000. Stop this. Henry was polite. Too late, ma'am, law's moving. She hung up, sobbing, her reign over. I looked at Henry. You planned this from day one. He held Clara's hammer. Not planned, just waited. Bullies always trip. The cube sat under the stars. Saddle Creek's heart beating stronger. Victoria's castle in ruins. The Texas dust settled in Saddle Creek, but the echoes of the crusher's roar lingered, a testament to Grandpa Henry's victory. Her $45,000 Honda Pilot, crushed into a metal cube, marked her defeat. Her bribes, fraud, and extortion exposed by Henry's patience and my digital sleuthing. The FBI had hauled her away. Saddle Creek was free, but the work of rebuilding had just begun. The morning after the crush, neighbors flooded our yard. 30, then 40, bringing coffee, tools, stories. Mrs. Rivera, 60, hugged Henry. You saved us. Her $800 fine for unapproved flowers was one of Victoria's scams. Mr. Lopez, 50, shook my hand. She charged me $1,000 for my fence, gone now. I posted their testimonies on watchageabuse.com. The site crashed from traffic, hashtag Caldwell Cube, trending nationwide. We're legends. I told Henry, my laptop humming. He polished Clara's claw hammer. Legends don't rest. Ethan, we rebuild. The local paper ran a front-page spread. Saddle Creek, HOA fraud crushed. My footage of the cube's birth went viral. Ranchers from Houston to Lubbock shared HOA horror stories. Henry's yard was cleared by real inspectors. Cleaner than most, one said, dropping all charges. The metal cube found a home at the Ranch VFW Museum. A plaque read, "Justice crushed here," donated by Henry Caldwell, Vietnam vet. Kids on tours gawked. What happened to the car? Guides grinned. An old man taught a bully a lesson. I added a sign to our gate. Caldwell Land, EST 1987. No bullies allowed. Neighbors copied it. Rivera home free. Lopez Yar proud. Victoria's empire unraveled fast. Her McMansion foreclosed, sold at auction to fund restitution. Federal prosecutors charged 3 city officials. The building inspector who'd cut our utilities, the clerk who'd piled fines, the planner who'd greased her permits. All took bribes. Agent Carla Vargas told me, flipping through Henry's file box, recordings, emails, Derek Salazar's testimony. Derek, once Victoria's muscle, had flipped. She used me to scare folks, he told the feds. His words sealed her fate, 7 years in federal prison, assets seized. Her $50 million resort collapsed. Investors fled. Her 2008 bankruptcy fears reborn. I found her last email, sent from jail, to her cousin. I'm finished. Caldwell won. I showed Henry. She's dust. He nodded. Dust don't fight back. Saddle Creek's HOA was dissolved, a new board elected, led by Mrs. Rivera. Transparency first, she vowed at the first meeting, sharing receipts for a $2,000 park cleanup. Real work, real costs. Neighbors cheered. 50 packed the community center, a far cry from Victoria's rig shows. No more secret bylaws, Mr. Lopez said, raising a fist. I live-streamed it. Comments poured in. Saddle Creek's back. Henry spoke. This yard's open to all. Bring your problems. The crowd roared. His salvage yard, once a hazard, now a hub. Teens learned welding. Veterans swapped stories over coffee. It's home again, I told Henry, watching kids tinker. He smiled. Always was Ethan. Just needed reminding. Derek's redemption was the surprise. He visited the yard head low. I was wrong. Your kindness broke me, he told Henry, recalling the lemonade, the bike tire lesson. Henry clapped his shoulder. Takes a man to own it, Derek. Derek took a job at Sunset Pines Nursing Home. his 6 feet 4 inches frame now guarding seniors, not bullying them. Residents love him, Mrs. Rivera said, grinning. Derek's testimony had been key, detailing Victoria's orders to harass, fine, intimidate. She saw people as property, he told prosecutors. His immunity deal gave him a clean slate. He stopped by Sundays, helping Henry tune the crusher. Learning to protect, not hurt, he said, wiping grease. I nodded. You're one of us now. The community healed. 20 neighbors helped repaint our shed, erase leave from the mailbox. Victoria, slash my tires too, said Mrs. Garcia, 70, joining us. Henry fixed her car. No charge. The yard buzzed. Saturday barbecue drew 60. Laughter drowning out the highway's hum. I posted clips. Henry grilling. Kids playing. Hashtag Caldwell Cube shirts everywhere. We're famous. I laughed. Henry held Clara's photo. She'd love this, Ethan. I hugged him. She's watching Grandpa. The VFW Cube drew tourists. Guide spun the tale of Henry's patience. My hacks. Derek's turn. Best story in Texas, one said. Kids asked, where's the mean lady? Guide chuckled. Learning her lesson. Federal probes widened. The mayor resigned, tied to Victoria's $5,000 donation. Her bribes ran deep. Carla said, taking Henry's recordings. I traced more emails. Victoria's offshore account linked to a shell company, frozen by the feds. She's got nothing. I told Henry. He studied the crusher. Never needed her money, just our land. Saddle Creek's property values soared. Historic preservation status locked out future developers. No more resorts. Mrs. Rivera vowed. Henry's 12 acres tripled in worth. Not selling, he said, hammering a new signpost. I stayed on my remote job. Let me modernize the yard systems, install better cameras. You're a rancher now, Henry teased. I grinned. Learn from the best. Victoria's final meltdown aired on TV. Cameras caught her screaming in cuffs. I have lawyers, as feds loaded her up. The clip went viral. Entitled HOA Karen crushed, headlines read. I posted it. Millions viewed, cheering Henry's win. She's the villain of greed, a commenter wrote. Ranch became a beacon. HOAs across Texas reformed, inspired by hashtag Caldwell Cube. You changed the game. I told Henry. He sipped coffee. Just play the hand dealt, Ethan. Months later, I found a 1987 permit in the shed. The shed was 3 inches over the line. Victoria was right? I asked, stunned. Henry sharpened Clara's hammer. Technically, yeah, I was going to tear it down anyway. I laughed. You let her ram it? His grin was sly. Save me the demo. Ethan, her mistake. The shed stood, a monument to strategy. I rebuilt its roof. Neighbors helped. Clara's hammer hung proud. Henry became Saddle Creek's heart. Veterans met monthly. Kids learned mechanics. This ain't a junkyard, it's a school, Mr. Lopez said. Derek taught seniors to spot scams. Paying it forward, he told me. The Cube's legend grew. A film crew shot a documentary. Crushed. The HOA takedown. You're a star. I teased Henry. He shrugged. Just an old soldier, Ethan, did what was right. One evening, we sat on the porch, the Texas sky gold. Kids playing where Victoria's SUV once parked. Regrets, Grandpa? I asked. He sipped coffee, Clara's photo nearby. Just one should have charged her for crushing that car. I laughed. Perfect finish. He looked at me. You learned, Ethan. Fight smart, not loud. I nodded. Best lesson ever. Saddle Creek thrived. No bullies, just community. Henry's hammer gleamed. Justice served. Cold and crushing. Wow, what a ride in Saddle Creek, y'all. Thanks for joining Henry's epic takedown of Victoria's schemes. That crusher moment was pure justice. If you love this story, hit that like button and drop a comment. Got your own HOA drama? Spill it. We'll catch you next time. Stay awesome.